this is Teresa Jewell from Stony Meadows Alpacas and Stone Mountain Looms, and I've had a lot of questions on starting a triangle. And as you can see, I have my triangle here, and I'll give everyone a minute if you wanted to grab your triangle or take some notes, feel free. I'm hoping to, after we're all done, actually post this on my YouTube channel, so and I can look back, it seems, and see if there's any questions. So go ahead and ask, and if I don't get to them, then after the video, I'll go back and look at the questions and type in answers, or maybe even go live again if I can't answer them with just typing away. So what we have now is we have a 3-foot triangle, and this is what we're using. And my husband and I, Chuck Jewell, we make these looms. We make them out of red oak, solid red oak, stainless steel nails with no head. If you can see, these nails have no head, so if you've worked with other looms, you'll know that the ones that have heads on them, when you go to take your finished piece off, they get caught on the nails and catch, and sometimes you can have your piece kind of misshapen a bit, so that's why there's no heads on these nails. This loom here, the 3-foot, I'm going to be making a hat on this loom. This loom we sell for $125, and you can order it. Just call me on my cell phone. I give my number out to kind of everyone. It's area code 585-750-9332, and you can text me and tell me you'd like a loom, and we'll ship one right out to you. Like I said, this one is $125. The fun thing about our looms and Chuck and I's business is we're the only loom company that has a trade-in policy. And what that means is if you purchase this loom for $125 and you play with it and have fun with it and think, oh gosh, maybe I should have gotten a 5-foot triangle, you bring this loom back to me, and as long as it's in pristine condition, I'll give you $125 towards your next loom to kind of trade up. And what's great about that is you'll find once you start working with these types of looms and continuous strand weaving, you find that you grow as an artist and as a crafter, and you want to try the different looms and the different shapes. This is the triangle. We make square, rectangles, diamonds, and I'm sure you're going to want to try them all because they're wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I kind of have a setup here. I'm going to kind of put this right up here. And I know because I'm doing this myself, I'm not going to be able to zoom in as I'm going. So I'm going to try to talk my way all the way through it and try not getting too much in front of the camera as I'm working. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you set up your triangle is put it on your easel. And this easel here I got from Michael's. I love this easel because it's nice and sturdy, and I can put my small frame looms on it all the way to my largest triangle to rectangle. So this is a great easel. But before you begin weaving, what I want you to do is take some yarn, and I want you to tie your loom down. I don't care how big your loom is or how small. When you start weaving, you're not going to think, and you're going to wind up pulling the loom, and it's going to fall on you. It's going to hurt. It's happened to me. I've had nail dents in my forehead from not doing it, so don't let that happen to you. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just tie this loom down so it doesn't fall forward. And this is not going to be in the way in any way of the weaving, so don't worry if you have to tie it down here or wherever you have to secure your loom. That's the first thing you do, is tie it down so it's safe. Not only that, but children walking by, dogs, you just don't want this loom falling on anyone. Okay, so because I'm making a hat, I'm using all natural fiber yarns here. They're alpaca and wool. There's some angora in here. And the reason why I'm using all natural fiber is because when I'm all done weaving this piece, I'm going to want to wet felt it and even needle felt it a bit to finish off my hat. And we will actually do that on another video, but that's why I'm using all natural fiber yarns. You do not have to use natural fiber yarns on your loom. There's some really great acrylic yarns that you use. Just remember, your piece is only going to be as nice as the yarns you use. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your yarns. This is my favorite tool to use. It's just a long crochet hook or Afghan hook. You can use smaller hooks or longer hooks, but this one for me is ideal. Now, one thing you're going to notice is I'm starting with my triangle with the point up. I know other videos or teachers you've seen have weave with the point down. You know, it's a preference. I like to draw my yarns up out of a bowl rather than pull them up and back and over. I learned to weave first with the point down and pulling the yarns up and over, and they just got caught in the nails and it just seemed silly to me. So I flipped it upside down. So with my yarns, this is just, and you can see in this bowl, it's an array of colors, and I always save the bits and pieces of shawls that I do, even if it's just a tiny little bit. I save it because when you're making smaller pieces like this, you can use up all the little bits of everything and make another finished piece. So there's no reason to get rid of these small little balls. So I'm going to start off first with a color that you can really, really see. As you can see in my bowl, I have different thicknesses in yarns too. This is like a sport. This is more like a worsted. This is very thick. And you'll see with these looms, you can use any weight yarn that you want. And what we're going to be doing is some yarns I'm going to do a single strand, and others I'm going to do a double strand. And I'm going to try to go slow so that way everyone can see. So let's see, I'm going to use this one because this one looks pretty dark because I want everyone to see what I'm doing. So first I'm going to do is make a slip knot. Just like that. And I leave a long tail. Keep in mind that as you're changing colors, you're going to want to keep long tails because these tails are going to wind up to be fringe, and you don't want those tails to be too short and they'll stick out like sore thumbs. Make sure those tails are nice and long because you can always give it a haircut when you're done, but you can't add on. So keep them nice and long. So what I did is the very last nail on the bottom row on the left, I placed, let's see, get you right in view here. I placed my slip knot so it's nice and snug. Now what I'm going to do is take this yarn over and go right over to the other side to the very end nail at the bottom row. Go under the nail and over and take this yarn right back to the end, to the second nail on the left. I'm going over the second nail on the left and then down and holding it. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'm taking my hook and I'm going under the first string, but on the right of the second nail to the right. I'm bringing it up and hooking it on the third nail up. Now, I didn't let go of it. you can see, I'm going to slide that right over. I'm taking that for a walk. I'm not letting go of it. Now I'm hooking it on the second nail up. And I still have a hold of this string. Let's get more in frame here so you can see. There we go. And I'm pretty sure that, I'm not sure if you can zoom into the video now, but once I get it on YouTube, you can zoom in on YouTube videos. I just figured that out. So now I still have a hold of my string. I'm placing my hook over the top string, under the second string, over the first. So I went over, under, over. I'm grabbing that string, bringing it up, placing it on the third nail up, not letting go, and I'm taking it for a walk and placing it on the fourth nail over. I hope everyone can see that. So now again, my hook is going over that first string, under, over, under, grabbing, bringing it up on that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth nail over, and I'm taking it for a walk and placing it over. Now, I'm going to bring this string back over here, and this is where we are going to change strings, and I'm going to try to get this just a little closer. So what's happening here is I am weaving, walking it across, and the weaving is already done. Placing it, and then weaving again and walking the next weave over. So I'm going to bring this back over. So I'm going over, under, bringing it up and sliding it over. Now I'm going to want to change colors right here. So what I'm going to do is give myself about 6 inches to kind of play with, and I'm going to cut my string. See, I've got 6 inches kind of on the end here that I'm playing with. I'll bring this a little closer so you can see. There you go. Now I'm going to do a double strand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 kind of sport weight yarns just for fun. Let's see, choose. Okay. The hardest part is choosing which ones to use. Okay. Let's see. I like these 2 together. I've got kind of a multi-blue and green here, and then the green that I was just using. So when you double strand, when you're weaving, you're going to treat these 2 strands just as if they were one strand. And what this is going to do is allow you to use any yarn you want for your weaving. So if you want, say you wanted this yarn thicker, instead of trying to find a thicker yarn of this color, you could just double strand that one yarn. So now I'm going to weave this up. So I'm going to go over, under, under. I'm going to bring that up, just like that. And there's my 2 ends. Now what I'm going to do is tie a knot on the left side of that nail to secure them together. And that's all you have to do to change colors. Just make sure that you keep your tension. just like that. Now I'm going to begin weaving again. Let's see if that helps. Let's see, is that helpful? Let me know. Let's see, I think that might be helpful. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to weave again. So I'm going to go over, under, over, under. I'm going to grab those two strands, and you can see I'm hooking them on that bottom nail right there, bringing this up to the next nail, and then sliding this over. I'm going to go over, under, over, under, over, under. Catch those two strands again. Bring them around that bottom nail. Bring it up, and then slide that over. Now I'm on this side. Over, under, grab, bring it up, and then slide it over. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Elaine Ryan, for answering questions as you see them come up. I truly appreciate that. Let's see. Didn't know you could. Oops. Now you're falling. Let's see. Whew, almost lost y'all. Okay, didn't know you could zoom in on YouTube. Cool. I know, right? Oh my goodness. The things you learn, right? Let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the other side, and I'm going to change colors again. This time I'm going to do a bulkier yarn. Now, when I'm weaving different shawls, I'll go from a bulky yarn to a sateen ribboning to a chunky textured hand spun yarn. You can really use any yarns you want on these looms. So here I am, going up and down again, going around that, going back up, riding it over. Okay, so now I'm going to change yarns again, and hopefully you can see exactly how I'm doing this. So I'm going to pull this up, give myself about 6 inches. I'm going to cut, pull that one out. Now let's do, let's do something fun. This stuff is really, really thick, and I only have a little bit of it, but it's a whole lot of fun. Let's see. Now I'm gonna go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Bring this up. And there's my end. And I'm going to pull this one tight because you don't want to lose your tension on your weaving. So you want to make sure you keep this one taut. And I'm just doing a square knot. That's all it is. Just like that. And now I can begin weaving again. So over, under, see, these were the 2 double strands. I'm treating them as one string. These were my singles. Over, under. I'm wrapping around that nail there and going up, placing that on the very next nail, up, and then riding this over. I haven't dropped my phone on the floor yet, so think I'm doing pretty good. Let's see, over, under, over, under. Bring it up on the next nail, and then ride it on back to the other side. Let's see, now, doing that again. Now, as you can see with this type of weaving, it really goes along really quickly. Now, a piece like this, I can do in, I'd say about an hour and 20 minutes. I would have this weaving done for my hat. Let's see, how much of that in? Bring this up and over. Make sure, you can see as I'm going, I'm pushing these straight. You want to make sure all your rows are straight. You don't want them to go out that way. Keep them nice and straight. Back over again. Just like that. Okay, let's see. Now, I'm trying to read some of your, if you have any questions. Let's see. Okay. Very good. Okay, hopefully that answered a lot of the questions. Now, I know we're not done yet, but some of you that are watching, I know are complete newbies to continuous strand weaving, and I'm sure one of your questions is once this is all done, how do you take it off the loom? And that answer, I'm going to get really, really close so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Because this is the interesting thing about continuous strand weaving. Get as close as I can so you can really see. Okay, so now most people who see these types of looms, they think back to their youth when you did the pot holders. And when you did them, you had to bind off the edges. And so that is kind of a misconception people have, that with these looms, you're going to have to bind off all these edges. And that is not true. Because with continuous strand weaving, the edges are already bound. And what that means is, you'll see, I'll pull off one of these. See that? It stops at this junction right here. It's not going to go any further. And if I pull off another one, it stops at that junction. So you're going to actually have a nice edge on this piece without having to do any binding off. Now, a lot of my pieces, I do crochet the edges, and that's just something that I like to do to finish off. You don't have to do that. With this video, if you have any questions afterwards, go ahead and ask the questions on the group, and I'll try to answer them. I'm going to try to keep my easel right here so I can jump onto another piece. And we're actually going to do next the rectangle, and I'm going to get that right out when I clean this up, so tonight. And I'm going to try to do a video, hopefully 2 a week. So stay tuned to our group page. If you have any questions on a specific loom or a part on the loom that you're on, ask, and we'll see if we can do a live video to answer those questions. So thank you so much, and keep posting all your finished work and asking all your questions. Thanks, bye.